Bluey is a hilarious and heartwarming show that's easy to fall in love with. But did you know there are many details hidden beneath the part that everyone notices? In the episode Ragdoll, Bluey finds a bill lying on the laundry room floor. She runs to show Bingo, and the two of them immediately start planning their ice cream. But let's be honest, two kids finding loose money inside the house? That clearly belongs to Bandit or Chili. And then comes the strange detail. Bandit grabs the bill, looks at it, and instead of putting it in the wallet that's in his hand, he simply shoves it behind his back, between himself and the couch. But seconds later, when he stands up, the money has disappeared, gone. And from this other angle, you can see it clearly. And the same thing happens in the episode Phones. Chili picks up her phone to pay for the Uber, makes the same movement, puts it behind her back, and the phone evaporates from the scene. Now think about it. They don't wear clothes, they don't have pockets, so where are these things going? My theory is simple. There's some kind of invisible dimensional pocket on their backs. And it makes sense within the Bluey universe. After all, they're not normal dogs. They talk, drive, work, know how to do magic. They're clearly not like the drooling little furball you have at home. It's like those magical bags in fantasy stories that can hold a sword, a map, food, rope, and whatever else you can imagine, all in a space that defies physics. Too much of a coincidence to be just an animation error, right? We're going to show you a bunch more of them now. Get ready for another BB-verse. I bet this question has already crossed your mind. Where are the cats in the world of Bluey? Do they exist? Or were they simply erased from history? Because if you pay attention, the topic comes up, but it's never really explained. In the second and third seasons, there's a super famous show called Cat Squad. The kids watch it, the adults hum the theme song. It's clearly a hit in that universe. But then the question comes up, is that just a cartoon inside the cartoon? Or could it be a Power Rangers-style series with actors and costumes? Layers upon layers of animation. A cartoon inside another cartoon. It's already starting to get confusing, right? It's like opening a box and finding another identical box inside. But there's one detail that confirms it. Cats do exist. In the library episode, Muffin plays with a book of animal sounds, presses the meow button, recognizes it instantly, and shouts, "Cat!" And there's more. In the episode Tradies, when Bluey and Bingo are spying on the workers in the backyard, you can see in the background an old drawing of a dog holding an unconscious cat by the scruff of its neck. In other words, at some point in the past, cats coexisted there as humanized characters. Now the question remains, were they wiped out? Do they live separately? Or does the Healer family live in a dogs-only region? Because if cats exist, that means the history of this world is much more complex than it seems. And maybe the adults' past, including Bluey's parents' athletic past, has a lot more hidden in it than we imagine. What's your theory? We're dying to know. Comment what you think using the hashtag #cat down in the comments. It may not seem like it nowadays, but Bandit used to be a serious athlete. In the episode Daddy Robot, while Chili and the girls are doing maintenance on Robot Bandit, you can see in the background a first-place trophy with a rugby ball next to it. Small detail, but nothing in Bluey is usually there by accident. That actually explains a lot, because in the episode Fruit Bat, when Bluey starts wandering while she sleeps, Bandit appears sleeping on the floor hugging a rugby ball, as if he were reliving glorious days. Then, in Bluey's dream, he shows up on the field with his brothers and friends, and she arrives exactly at the moment he scores an incredible point. Past glory, frozen in memory. And hold on to this information. In that same scene, Chili has a hockey stick resting on her lap. In another scene, way in the background, in the frames above the staircase, someone appears holding a first-place trophy. That red healer is definitely not Bandit. In other words, she may also have been an athlete. The hockey stick might not be there by accident. So the question grows, were both healers incredible athletes who left sports behind? Or does Bandit only relive these victories in his dreams, like something he always wanted but never went after? Because if Bluey's parents once had an impressive sports past, imagine what that says about their grandfather. And when we talk about Grandpa Mort, you're going to understand why he might be much more than just a simple grandfather. He might be a true living legend. Throughout the 3 seasons, there are 2 photos in the Healer house that go unnoticed, but tell a huge story. One of them shows a young Grandpa Mort wearing the uniform of the Australian Army, but it's not just a period photo. There's a detail there that changes everything. Next to the living room door, very discreetly, we can see a medal. And it's not just any medal, it's the Victoria Cross, the highest British military decoration, awarded only to soldiers who demonstrated extreme bravery in the face of the enemy. In other words, Grandpa Mort wasn't just a soldier, he was a true hero. And the most interesting part is that this connects perfectly with another episode. When Bluey, Bingo, and Mort are running from Chili and hide in a tree trunk, he casually says, "I'll teach you something I learned in the jungle." Right after that, he shows them how to camouflage themselves with mud. For a child, it's play. For an adult, it's military technique applied lightly. And then the fun part begins. Did he learn that by watching Predator? Or is it Dutch who should have learned from Grandpa Mort? And if you've ever seen The Lord of the Rings, that scene of Frodo, Sam, and Pippin hiding from the Nazgul in the mud almost feels like a tribute. At the end of the day, the most important question remains: who is scarier, a Nazgul or Chili running after you? I think the scariest thing is you not subscribing to the channel. So help me not be scared there, will you? Subscribe to the channel, please. Pretty please? There's a tiny detail in Bluey that almost no one noticed, and it involves the bill the Tooth Fairy gives Bluey in the episode The Market. She gets a $5 bill and is completely unsure how to spend it, especially with Indy by her side. After a lot of hesitation, Winton's dad convinces Bluey to buy a toffee apple, but Indy can't even eat it. And that's not the most curious part. The bill starts circulating. It goes from Winton's dad to Winton himself, then to the German sausage vendors, passes through several hands until it reaches Indy's mom, and finally returns to Bluey. Man, I bet that money traveled more than I have. Bluey still has the chance to donate the bill to the fair musician, and that's when the story gets truly interesting. After that, the musician disappears, but the bill doesn't. In the episode Dance Mode, if you pause at the right moment, it's there, sitting on top of his hat. And later, in Quiet Game, the same musician shows up again, using the same bill to buy an ice cream while the healers walk by in the background. And there's one more delightful detail. That musician is a representation of Joff Bush himself, the composer of the show's music. They say this bill might appear again when Bingo loses a tooth, but what almost no one noticed is that the money isn't just an animated detail, it's based on a real bill that actually exists. And when you see that, the story becomes even more impressive. The $5 bill in Bluey isn't fictional, it's based on a real banknote. If the pink color threw you off, it's because this isn't the green American dollar. It's Australian currency, and Australia's $5 note has a pink tone and features Queen Elizabeth's portrait. So it's not an animation mistake, but a carefully crafted adaptation. Essentially, a canine version of money that already exists in our world. That detail reflects Ludo Studios' level of care. Even the cash passing from hand to hand follows real-world logic. They could have created a generic bill, but instead chose to include a tiny dog version of Queen Elizabeth. And honestly, if even royalty became a little dog in Bluey, it just proves this cartoon is more detailed than many adult series. Long live the Queen, on 4 paws. Going back to the episode Tradies, there's a really sweet little detail. So far, Chippy, the dog who's always talking on his phone instead of working, is the only character in the entire series we see with tattoos. He currently has 2. A tiger on one arm and a cherry on the other. The key detail is the cherry tattoo. It's very likely that this second tattoo is a loving tribute to his girlfriend. Why? Because Cherry is the name of Chippy's girlfriend, whom we see later in the episode. So, the cherry tattoo is basically a playful nod by the animators to people who tattoo their girlfriend's name or face as a proof of love. In Chippy's case, he was pretty clever choosing cherries, since it's a much subtler gesture and, in my opinion, shows he put more thought into it instead of going with the obvious choice. Pretty cute, right?